Shri Gurubhyo Namaha children. I am happy to welcome you all for our online teaching academy, Ekalaiva. For the class 9, subject biology, we are discussing the chapter organ system in animals. Today, we are going to see the continuation of the yesterday's class. Yesterday, we saw the digestive system. Digestive system is one among the 10 organ system in our body. What are the organ system in our body? Digestive system, muscular system, respiratory system, reproductive system, endocrine system, excretory system, and so on. Among this 10 organ system, digestive system is one among them. So yesterday we started the digestive system, and what are the organs involved in digestive system? There are two different set of organs. One is alimentary canal and another one is digestive glands. Two set. One set is alimentary canal and second set is digestive gland. Alimentary canal is also called as gastrointestinal gland organ. Okay. So GI tract, gastrointestinal tract starts from the mouth or buccal cavity and end with the anus. The second set of organs, that is digestive glands. Example, salivary gland, pancreatic gland, liver, and then pancreas, etc. So these are the second set of organs involved in digestion. What is digestion? The conversion, the breakdown of complex organic molecule into smaller, simpler subunits, that is called digestion. So for that digestion, digestive enzymes are involved. So conversion, breakdown of complex organic compound, complex organic molecule or complex organic material is broken down into smaller, simpler particles with the help of enzymes, digestive enzymes is called digestion. Clear children? So now we are going to see the continuation of yesterday's class. Today starts with the pharynx. Pharynx is a membrane lined cavity behind the nose and the mouth. See the picture here children. This is the nose, or also called as nasal cavity, and this is the mouth or buccal cavity. So the pharynx is present between or behind the nose and the mouth. Here nose and the mouth, behind this pharynx is present. It connects the mouth to the esophagus. Clear children? So connecting them to the esophagus. It connects the mouth as well as the nose, connects the mouth to the esophagus. It is always present behind the mouth. It serves as a pathway, channel. Okay, it serves as a pathway for the movement of food from the mouth to the esophagus. Esophagus is also called as food pipe. So it plays a very important role. It serves as a pathway for the movement of food from the mouth or buccal cavity to the esophagus. Okay. Then followed by pharynx, it is esophagus. Esophagus is also called as food pipe. Esophagus or food pipe is a muscular membrane and it acts as a channel. Okay, it is a membranous channel of about 22 centimeter length. See the picture here. This is the esophagus. It starts from here till here. This is the esophagus or food pipe. Its length is 22 centimeter. 22 centimeter. It starts from here, from the pharynx, and connects it with the stomach. So it conducts food from the pharynx to the stomach by peristaltis movement. The movement from the food from the peristaltis and enter into the stomach. It is like a wave-like movement, like this. This is a wave-like movement. This is called a peristaltic movement. And that was produced by the rhythmic contraction and relaxation of muscular walls of alimentary canal. So the movement takes place due to the contraction and relaxation of alimentary canal. Clear, children? So esophagus conducts the food from the pharynx to the stomach by peristaltis. Peristaltis is nothing but a wave-like movement. This wave-like movement are produced by the rhythmic action, rhythmic contraction and relaxation of the muscular walls of alimentary canal. The next one is stomach. You know very well, stomach is a wide J-shaped organ. See the picture here, children. This is a wide J-shaped organ. Okay, it is a bag-like structure, sac-like structure, and it is located between the esophagus and the small intestine. So stomach is always present in between the esophagus and the small intestine. The gastric glands present in the inner walls of the stomach secrete gastric juice. So most of the glands secretes enzymes. Okay, so the gastric glands also secrete some gastric juice. The gastric juice is colorless and it is highly acidic. Its pH is below 7. It is highly acidic, containing mucus and then HCl, hydrochloric acid, and enzymes called renin and pepsin. So the gastric juice contains mucus, hydrochloric acid, and then enzymes called renin and pepsin. So which gland secrete gastric juice? Gastric gland secretes gastric juice. Gastric glands present in the inner walls of the stomach. See here, this inner walls of the stomach, this is called the gastric gland. This gastric gland secretes gastric juice. It is a colorless, highly acidic, okay, and then it mainly contains mucus, HCl, and enzymes called renin and pepsin. Clear, children? Inactive pepsinogen is converted into active pepsin, which acts on the protein in the ingested food. So we are intaking a balanced diet. The balanced diet contains all the essential nutrients, carbohydrates, proteins, fats, vitamins, minerals, etc. So the first protein content, protein is first digested only in the stomach. Okay, the inactive pepsinogen is converted into active pepsin, which acts on protein. So protein is digested by the action of active pepsin. So active pepsin plays a vital role in the digestion of protein. Okay, so hydrochloric acid kills the bacteria swollen along with the food and makes the medium acidic, while the mucus protects the wall of the stomach. The action of gastric juice of the food in the stomach converts the bolus. Bolus is nothing but the semi-solid food which we have eaten from the mouth to the stomach. So the food which is digested in the mouth, it is said to be the bolus. After digestion takes place in the mouth, it is said to be the bolus. It is semi-solid food. Okay, so bolus into the semi-digested food called chyme. So the food from the mouth to the stomach, it is said to be the bolus, and the food from the stomach to the intestine, small intestine, it is said to be the chyme. So you have to know the difference between bolus and the chyme. The bolus is nothing but the food from the mouth after the initial digestion takes place. Okay, so that is called bolus. The bolus only enters into the stomach and then their digestion takes place. After that, the bolus is changed into chyme. Okay, that is enter into the small intestine. Chyme moves to the intestine, especially the small intestine, slowly through pylorus. Pylorus is the junction between the stomach and the small intestine. Can you get my point, children? So chyme is also a semi-digested food. It is a 60 to 80% liquid type. So semi-digested food, it is said to be chyme, which is come from the stomach and it slowly enter into the small intestine through pylorus. Pylorus is the junction between the stomach and the small intestine. Then small intestine. The small intestine is the longest part of the alimentary canal. See, the name is small intestine, but this is the longest part among the alimentary canal. Alimentary canal starts from mouth or buccal cavity, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, small intestine, large intestine, rectum, anus. Among the organs, the small intestine is the largest part. See here, largest part, which is an long coiled tube measuring of about 5 to 7 meter. See the length of the small intestine, it is 5 to 7 meter length. It comprises 3 parts. It is of 3 parts. One is duodenum, second one is jejunum, and third one is ileum. See, duodenum, jejunum and ileum. See the picture here, children. Are you able to see the small intestine here? This is stomach, you know very well, and this part is said to be small intestine. Okay, the small intestine comprises of 3 major parts. One is duodenum, the first part which is just below to the stomach, it is called duodenum, followed by jejunum, Jejeunum, jejunum, and third one is ileum. Okay, duodenum. Duodenum is C-shaped part and it receives the bile duct and pancreatic duct. So duodenum is the entry, is the first part of the small intestine. It receives the bile duct from the liver and the pancreatic duct from the pancreas. Okay. The second part is the jejunum. It is the middle part of the small intestine. It is short region of the small intestine. The third one is ileum. Ileum forms the lowest part, that is the last part of the small intestine, and it opens into the large intestine. Ileum is the largest part of the small intestine. So small intestine comprises of 3 parts: duodenum, jejunum and ileum. Duodenum is a C-shaped part. It always receives the bile duct and pancreatic duct. It receives bile duct from the liver and pancreatic duct from the pancreas. The second one is jejunum. Jejunum is the middle part of the small intestine. It is short segment, short region of the small intestine. The secretion of small intestine in the intestinal juice, which converts the enzymes like sucrase, maltase, lactase and lipase. Okay, so secretion of small intestine is intestinal juice. So what are all the secretions secreting in the intestine? It is called as intestinal juice, which contains the enzyme. What are the enzymes? Sucrase, maltase, lactase and lipase. The word end with ASE. The word end with ASE means it is said to be enzyme. The secretion of intestine is said to be the intestinal juice. That intestinal juice contains enzyme. What are the enzymes? Sucrase, maltase, lactase and then lipase. All these are the enzymes which are secreted by the small intestine. They are collectively called as intestinal juice. The intestinal juice are secreted in the small intestine only. These enzymes are necessary for the digestion of the nutrients. Okay. So the third part of the small intestine is the ileum. It is the last part of the small intestine. It is the longest part, even though it is last and it is largest part. Ileum is the largest part of the small intestine. It contains a minute finger-like projection called villi. See the spelling here, children. Villi, V-I-L-L-I, villi. It is a minute finger-like projection. It is meant for absorption of digested food. Okay, so in small intestine, both digestion as well as the absorption takes place. Clear, children? Only the ileum part having a finger-like projection called villi. There only the absorption of food substance takes place. Clear? There are approximately 4 million in number. The villi are 4 million. Internally, each villus contain a fine blood capillaries and lacteal tubes. Blood capillaries and lacteal tubes. See the picture here, children. This is the internal structure. Internally, the villi has a fine blood capillaries. This is the blood capillaries, and this is the lacteal tube. The small intestine serves both for digestion as well as the absorption. Now only I said no, small intestine acts a dual character. It is meant for digestion as well as for the absorption of food substances. Next we move on to the liver. Liver is the largest digestive gland of the body, which is reddish brown in color. See the picture here. This is the reddish brown colored liver. It is divided into two main lobes. This is one lobe and this is another lobe. The right and left lobes. The right lobe is larger than the left. Here the larger lobe, right lobe, and the left one is smaller when compared with the right lobe. On the outer surface of the liver, gallbladder is present. The main function is the liver cells secretes bile. So all these biles are temporarily stored in the gallbladder. Can you get my point, children? The outer surface of the liver is said to be the gallbladder. Gallbladder is present. The main function is all the secretion of the liver. Liver secretes bile salts and bile pigments. So the bile salts and bile pigments, bile are temporarily stored in the gallbladder. Clear? Bile is released into the small intestine when the food enters into it. It has bile salts and bile pigment. Bile is nothing but bile salts and bile pigment. Bile salts, sodium glycolate and sodium tartroglycolate, and bile pigment, bilirubin and biliverdin. Bile salts helps in the digestion of fats by bringing about their emulsification, conversion of larger fat droplets into smaller ones. That is called emulsification. Bile is necessary for digestion of fat. Okay, so bile salts helps in the digestion of fats by bringing about the emulsification, the process of conversion of larger fat droplets into smaller one. See here, all the bile secretions, all the liver secretion, that is called bile. Liver secretes bile. Bile is a combination of bile salts and bile pigment. All the secretions are temporarily stored in the gallbladder. When the food enters into the stomach or when the food enters into the intestine, the secretion temporarily secreted and the bile secretes, the bile enters into the gallbladder, no? So all this bile enter into the small intestine. Clear? So bile salts helps in the digestion of fat by bringing about their emulsification. The next one is pancreas. Pancreas is a lobed leaf-shaped gland situated between the stomach and the duodenum. See the picture here, and this is the pancreas, lobed leaf-shaped gland. Okay, it is situated between the stomach and the duodenum. Duodenum is the first part of the small intestine. Pancreas acts as a dual character. So it acts as a dual character. Pancreas acts both as an endocrine gland as well as the exocrine gland. Exocrine gland is nothing but it secretes enzymes. Endocrine gland is nothing but it secretes hormones. Clear? So pancreas acts as a dual character. The exocrine part of the pancreas secretes pancreatic juice, which contains three enzymes. What are the three enzymes? Lipase, trypsin and amylase, which acts on fat, protein and starch respectively. Lipase acts on fat, trypsin acts on protein and amylase acts on starch. It converts the complex into starch is a polysaccharide, when amylase acts on starch, it converts into disaccharides and monosaccharides respectively. Can you get my point, children? So pancreas acts as a dual character, that means both as an endocrine gland as well as the exocrine gland. The exocrine part of the pancreas secretes pancreatic juice. The pancreatic juice consists of three main enzymes. What are the three main enzymes? Lipase, trypsin and amylase, which acts on fats, proteins and carbohydrate, that is starch respectively. Clear, children? The gland's upper surface bears the islets of Langerhans, which have endocrine character, endocrine nature, which have endocrine cells and secretes hormone. So the upper surface of the pancreas acts as a endocrine gland. It secretes hormones, that is which has two different types of cells, alpha cells and beta cells. Alpha cells of islets of Langerhans secretes glucagon hormone and beta cells of islets of Langerhans secretes insulin hormone. These two are the hormones. Okay. Next, absorption of food. As I said earlier, the absorption takes place only in the intestinal villi. Okay, a small finger like projection, minute finger like projection, from the absorption takes place. There only the absorption of food takes place. Absorption is a process in which the nutrients obtained after digestion are absorbed by villi. Very, very important. And it is circulated throughout the body by blood as well as the lymph, and it is supplied to all parts of the body according to their requirement. Absorption is nothing but taking in, okay, intake of the digested food, intake of the nutrients after digestion by the intestinal villi, and it is mixed in the blood and it is circulated throughout the body. That is called the absorption. And what is assimilation? Assimilation of food. Assimilation refers to, assimilation means incorporation of absorbed food materials into the tissue cells. To the tissue cells, it is said to be assimilation. So all the incorporated absorbed food materials are in the blood. It goes to all parts of the tissue and tissues are incorporated. So the incorporation of the absorbed food materials into the cells or into the tissues or into the organs is called assimilation. So intake of nutrients by the blood, this is called absorption. Incorporation of absorbed food materials into the tissue, it is called assimilation. Clear? Then move on to the large intestine. The unabsorbed or undigested food is passed into the large intestine and it extends from the ileum to the anus and it is eliminated out from the body. It is about 1.5 meters in length. See here, the small intestine, it is 5 to 7 meters in length, but this large intestine, it is only 1.5 meter in length. It has three parts. The first one is cecum, second one is colon, and the next one is rectum. So cecum, colon and rectum, the three are collectively called as large intestine. The cecum is a small blind pouch like structure situated at the junction of small and large intestine. The rectum is the last part which opens into the anus. The undigested or unabsorbed or unassimilated portion of the ingested food is thrown out from the body through the anal aperture as a fecal matter. This is known as egestion. Egestion is nothing but elimination of undigested food. Okay, thrown out, elimination or rejection of undigested or unassimilated food portion, food particles, that is called egestion. It comes out from the body through the anal aperture. Clear, children? As a fecal matter. See the picture. This is an enlarged portion of large intestine. This is called cecum and this part is called colon and this is called rectum. and finally it opens into the anus, anal canal, anal aperture. Okay, the undigested or unassimilated food comes out, thrown out from the body through the anal aperture. This is known as egestion. Clear, children? Thank you, children. To receive our online lessons, please press subscribe button and you will receive the latest updates. Thank you.